Hi, I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with my rhythm guitar exercise series. In this series, we go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar accompaniment, and we focus on blues rhythmic phrasing. First, I will perform rhythm exercise in the key of C number 4, and then I'll break it down for you. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. All right, let's break down rhythm exercise in the key of C number 4. I have a 12-bar blues that I've divided into 6 2-bar phrases. We'll be using the exact same rhythm in each of the 2-bar phrases. The rhythm is 1 and triplet, 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. In the first bar of the 2-bar phrase, we'll be playing lead guitar. That lead guitar part will extend into the first 8th note of bar 2. At this point, we'll switch to the blues rhythm guitar pattern, otherwise known as the Chuck Berry or Jimmy Reed pattern. That would normally sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But because we're going to chop that first 8th note, it will sound like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So in each 2-bar phrase, we'll alternate between playing the lick over 1 and triplet, 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we'll enter into that rhythm guitar pattern. Now that we've talked about the rhythm, let's look at the scale that we'll be using in this example. We'll be using the C blues scale located between the 5th and 8th fret for this example. In the cage system, this is what we would call the G pattern. Remember that the blues scale is the same as the minor pentatonic scale with the addition of the blue note. Here is the C blues scale. Now, let's get a look at the first phrase. Here's phrase 1. 1 and triplet, 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're going to start out with a double stop here. And these notes are, again, both in our minor pentatonic or blues scale. So we're going to slide in, and then we're going to use a pull-off in this triplet. So we're using the blue note, and then we're coming right down the scale. So again, the first 2 8th notes, double stop, and we have the triplet with a pull-off, 3 and, triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's go on to phrase 2. 1 and triplet, 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So again, we're in the same C blues scale. We're starting out with a bend. We have 1 and triplet using the blue note, and then here's 3 and then triplet, and then ending on the root C. And then notice this time I went over here for the C comping pattern. You can go either place. You could go here at the 3rd fret, or you could go over to the 8th fret. Whatever you're more comfortable with. The first time I went over here, the second time I went over to the 3rd fret. I just wanted to demonstrate that there's 2 places that you could play that comping pattern. One more time. Now for phrase 3. One and triplet, 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're going to start with the double stop here at the 8th fret. I'm using my ring finger and giving it a little slide in, so that's 1 and. Now I'm coming down the blues scale for the first triplet, so triplet, and then my 3 and my last triplet. Now, I ended this phrase on the note F. That's because we're on an F chord here. F is our 4th chord in the key of C. So I'm ending my phrase on the root, which is a chord tone. So you don't always have to end on the root, but it should maybe be a chord tone. That really helps outline the chord change. Now, for my comping pattern, I jump down to the 1st fret. If you like that lower sound, feel free to make the move. Otherwise, if you're not comfortable playing this pattern at the 1st fret, you could always come up to the 8th fret and do it in the higher register. That would be just fine. One more time, and I'll play the F in the higher register. Here's phrase 4. One and triplet, 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're starting off with a whole bend at the 8th fret. And then here's our first triplet. And we're going to do that same bend on beat 3 and our last triplet uses the blue note. And we're ending on the root C because we're back to our C chord, or the 1 chord. I'm going to jump down here to play the pattern. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. Here's phrase 5. One and triplet, 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're going to start off in our blues scale with 1 and. Now, at this point, I'm using one note that is outside our blues scale. So I'm using a D natural here instead of the E flat, which is normally in the C blues scale. The reason for this is I'm on the G7 chord at this point. That's the 5 chord in our key. And it sounds a little better to me to use a chord tone of G here. This D note is part of our chord. It's the 5th of the chord of G. So we're going to use this D note instead because it helps outline the chord. So this is our first triplet. And then we're back into our blues scale. And I'm giving this just a little bit of about a quarter bend. And then we're going back to that same triplet. And then ending our lick on the root G. That's our chord root. And then I'm going to jump down to the 3rd fret and play that same accompaniment pattern on G. the last phrase. Here's phrase 6. 1 and triplet, 3 and triplet, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So I'm starting off with about a half bend here. So I'm bending this E flat a little bit more towards the E because the E note is in our C chord. So again, I'm trying to use chord tones in my lick. And so 1 and then here's my triplet using the blue note. And then here's 3 and coming down the scale. And last triplet. And now I'm going to end on that note that's approaching E, bending that E flat a little bit, and then into my accompaniment pattern. And 2, and 3, and 4, and... That's it for rhythm exercise in the key of C number 4. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.